It is Dallas Cowboys mailbag time. All of the questions coming from our Dallas Cowboys Report live audience, either from Super Chats or from using hashtag Cowboys. From Big B, what do you think about Kelvin Joseph? That is the cornerback from Kentucky. Good name to mention there. I haven't studied him very much. I haven't dug too deep into him. I will relay what Dane Brugler had to say, namely, talent's really good, character is rough. And if the character's as bad as what I've been hearing, he's probably not a guy you want to take in the top 75. From Ryan O, what are your thoughts on the Cowboys potentially drafting quarterback if Fields or Wilson falls to them, or if they fall to 6-rate trade up? If you don't have Dak Prescott under contract, I think you have to consider it. It's not the move I would make. I would instead simply pay Dak. But if you don't have him locked up, you have to look into that route. Otherwise, you're doing your organization a major disservice beyond your mistake of not already paying Dak Prescott. Cody Cothran, who is a better prospect, Richie Grant or Trevon Moehrig? Ooh, it's a good question. I haven't finished Moehrig yet. I was really intrigued by Richie Grant. For now, I will put Moehrig on there. I still want to watch a little bit more UCF on top of that. It's pretty close, though. Neither is going to get a round 1 grade from me. If one of them is there at 44, I'd be pretty happy with that. From Tony Guerrero, will CeeDee Lamb take over as the Cowboys' number 1 wide receiver this season? That'd be fun. I think on a team like had the Raiders done the right thing and taken CeeDee Lamb instead of Henry Ruggs, the answer would be yes. Because Lamb was awesome this year. Despite not having Amari Cooper, or not having Dak Prescott the entire year, 74 catches, almost 1,000 yards, the numbers should go up. The reason why I say no has nothing to do with CeeDee Lamb. I love the player. I love the pick. He is a stud. I have no doubts about that. But you have Amari Cooper. So even though I think Lamb's going to be great this year, I still think Amari Cooper ends up being your number 1 receiver. But you guys can get your votes in here for me. This will be the pinned comment, by the way, on today's video. Who will be the number 1 receiver for the Cowboys next season? Type AC for Amari Cooper, type MG for Michael Gallup, or type CD for CeeDee Lamb. From Henry, sign or trade for a defensive tackle in free agency, get a cornerback early in the draft, target tackles, linebackers, and safeties after that. I agree. You pay Dak, of course, go get a defensive tackle, get a young, promising cornerback early, and then focus on the other key needs after that. Perfect plan. From Jordan Jamerson, since the boys' staff said Thompson was better than Ha Ha, does it make you think how good he actually was? You know, producer Brett's asked this to me many a time, and my answer is no, because nobody else wanted Clinton Dix. There was no interest in Ha Ha after he got cut. So I don't know what happened with Clinton Dix. Maybe he didn't keep up with his training plan in the offseason with COVID and everything. But whatever it was, he was bad. Frankly, I think it's fair, though, to question the coaching staff evaluation since they kept Donovan Wilson on the bench for so long. From Brokroff, how do you feel about Paris Ford or Christian Barmore, and where do you think they go? I like Barmore way more than I do Paris Ford. I think Christian Barmore goes somewhere mid to late round 1. If he falls to round 2, I'm probably going to pick up the phone and try and trade to go get him if I don't have a new DT. I like him a lot. Paris Ford, I think he's kind of a late day 2, probably more early to mid day 3 safety prospect. I don't think he fixes my safety issues. Now, if you guys have more questions on NFL draft prospects, like Brokov just did, hit me up on Twitter at WhatGoingDowney. I'm working my way through all the different prospects this year. I still have a whole lot to get to, so if you want to chat NFL draft, hit me up at WhatGoingDowney. Aiden Games, Farley, the Virginia Tech cornerback, or William Jackson, the Bengals cornerback. I think Jackson will be expensive, but I also know he's a number 1 corner. So I'm going to prefer Jackson over Farley, but I think Farley is more obtainable for this team. From Ingram Quick, does the Wentz trade make Dak's trade value go up or down? I don't think it impacts it at all, frankly. The problems with a potential Dak trade are when the Cowboys decide to shop him, and most importantly, beyond the health of the ankle, which I still think is fine, he gets to pick his destination. Like, that really limits where a player could end up going and what the value would be on a return. And frankly, who here trusts the Joneses to get proper trade value for Dak Prescott? I don't. Frankly, I don't think they trade him. I think they either pay him or let him ride out on the franchise tag. From JG, how many draft picks do we have this year? What positions do we fill from rounds 4 to 7? I believe the final number will end up being 10 draft picks. You got some comp picks coming your way. In theory, those have not been finalized yet. You know, when you get to day 3, you're looking for either a nice depth piece, maybe a developmental guy, and guys that can help you on special teams. So it's less about the positions and more about finding guys to fill the back end of your roster. If you want positions, probably linebacker, maybe you go defensive back, potentially even double dip in that area, and maybe a receiver or offensive tackle to develop as well. We will keep you guys covered this offseason with everything going on around the Dallas Cowboys. So if you don't want to miss out on any of the news, the trade buzz, the draft, the free agency, these live mailbags even, hit that big red button and subscribe. We do videos every single day, sometimes multiple times a day, depending on what's going on. This is the #1 subscribed and the #1 most viewed Cowboys YouTube channel out there. If you want to join the family, hit that big red button and subscribe today. Sign Awuzie for Twitch and draft Farley. I assume you mean by Twitch, you literally mean the streaming site. So, okay, weird flex. If you want to bring in Awuzie and then you draft Farley, I actually might experiment with putting Awuzie at safety. I also want to shout out Thomas Bryant for his $5 super chat. Thank you, my friend. Great name, by the way. From Maharutians or something like that. Who is your dream second-round pick? I'd feel great with Richie Grant. I would look at the linebackers, but I don't think the value is going to be right. I don't think Nick Bolton, the linebacker from Missouri, falls to me. If he does, I want him. I don't think Christian Barmore's there, so I'm probably looking at a safety or maybe one of those linebackers in round 2. We'll see what happens. I did not think Diggs was going to be there in round 2. Crazy stuff happens in the NFL draft. Alan Williams II, we talk about the players a lot, but what about the coaches? If Dallas isn't successful next year, who replaces McCarthy if he's fired? Is the offense really good? If so, it might be Kellen Moore. If the offense is bad, can I interest you in Lincoln Riley for the 4th year in a row? I'd like it. If not, can I go get Brian Dable? Can I do Eric Bieniemy? There are going to be some good coaches next year if things end up being a disaster. I also want to shout out Ray Cheney for his $3 super chat. Thank you very much, Ray. From Cecil Davis, are the #Cowboys okay with Gallimore and Tristan Hill as the main defensive tackles? I am concerned they're going to say, yeah, this works. It shouldn't. Tristan Hill's coming off the torn ACL. Neville Gallimore flashed down the stretch. I don't know if either of those guys are impactful enough. I feel good if Neville Gallimore and Tristan Hill and Antoine Woods are 3 of your 4 rotation pieces with a really good stud defensive tackle with them as your #1 guy. You don't have that right now. If you're giving Gallimore and Hill the majority of your snaps, I don't think something either went wonderfully well and those guys both broke out and became elite players, or something didn't go the way it was supposed to. So, who do you think, though, is the better defensive tackle? Neville Gallimore or Tristan Hill? I like Gallimore more coming out of Oklahoma. Get your NGs in for Neville Gallimore or type TH for Tristan Hill. From Golden Gaming 2000, what about Caden Stearns to replace Xavier Woods? Stearns was not great this year. I don't really know how else to describe it. Like, if you're going to wait to the later rounds to go add somebody, okay. Like, he can play single high free safety for you, I think. He doesn't play physical enough. I don't think he's good against tight ends. He's not a man coverage guy. He has the size and he has the range, but I haven't seen remotely enough consistency over 3 years to make him anything more than a day 3 flyer. It might end up working out, But I was hoping for a breakout year out of him at Texas, and that did not happen this year. He's always just been promising, but never really delivered on that quite yet. From Stelio says L for Producer Brett. Producer Brett says he will take an L if you throw in the super chat. So thank you guys very much in there. Everyone keep the L's coming for Producer Brett. From Jorge, who are the best speedy corners in the draft and in free agency? Good question. If you just want speed, Kerry Vincent is an absolute burner out of LSU. That dude can fly. I think Ambry Thomas is also pretty fast. Caleb Farley's going to run really, really low in his 40-yard dash drill. 38-yard drill. Thank you, Producer Brett. I could see someone like Asante Samuel testing pretty well, but I think Farley and Vincent are the top two guys to watch out for there. In free agency, it's not a great group. Does William Jackson have it still? Maybe him. I don't think Patrick Peterson has the same elite speed he once did. If you want just speed, I'd actually go young, and I would go to the draft instead. From Jacob Hillin, do you have a draft depth in mind of a player having a high floor or a high ceiling? I mean, in terms of what you're trying to do if you're the Cowboys, between chasing a higher floor and a higher ceiling guy, depends on the position, right? Like, when you get to day 3, I'm looking for the high ceiling guys. I'm going to try and find guys I might miss, but the miss rate's pretty high, and I'll develop them. In terms of, like, do I value one more or the other? Not really. It's an individual basis of evaluation for me. From Cody Techera, any possible chance the Cowboys trade Coop and keep Gallup because they're on much cheaper contracts than Coop, and it frees up more cap space to sign Dak and a good free agent. The problem there is that if you trade Cooper, you're eating some dead money, but then you're going to pay Gallup next year. So you might save a little bit of short-term money, but then you're back right where you were with, okay, now we got a high-paid receiver and a really, really good young one in CeeDee Lamb. So, yeah, you could trade Cooper. He was awesome this year. I don't want to move on from my number one wideout. He was that good. He dominated with not Dak Prescott as his quarterback. That has value to me. So pick a wide receiver one. Who's it going to be next season? Type AC for Amari Cooper, MG for Michael Gallup, or type CD for CeeDee Lamb. From Gamermode, trade Zeke and a second rounder for Gilmore. I don't know why the Patriots would want Zeke. Like, they had good play from Damian Harris this year. They don't want to invest money into the backfield. They can hope Sonny Michel bounces back. So a second rounder, though, for Gilmore might be about right. From Varen Rowe, trade Gallup for Gilmore and draft a wide receiver at 10 if one falls. Just a weird idea. If you're taking a receiver at 10, I think this has to be the move you make. You got to trade Gallup for an impact defensive piece. From Rex Morgan, with the 10th pick in the NFL draft, the Cowboys select, I'm going to go with Caleb Farley. That is my prediction, although that doesn't mean that's what will end up happening. So if you want to look at various scenarios, stuff that could happen if weird stuff happens in the NFL draft, go check out my mock drafts on our Chat Sports YouTube channel. YouTube.com/ChatSportsTV. I have a mock draft up there. We've broken down NFL.com, ESPN ones as well. Lots of draft coverage available at YouTube.com/ChatSportsTV. It's Just Zach, and again, a shout out to Ray Cheney for another super chat, $4.99 there. How long will it take for the Cowboys to win a Super Bowl? Yes is my answer, in the sense that yes, 1 year I will cling to as I cry myself to sleep every night. All right, from Liam. How does the Cowboys free agency look like? Do you want the hopeful answer or the real answer? The hopeful answer is they spend big on a defensive tackle or a safety, and they take care of that need, or a cornerback. The realistic answer is Stephen Jones went bargain shopping again and found a bunch of guys signed for less than $6 or $7 million per year, and your hit rate ends up being pretty bad again. From Elijah, what's the difference between Farley and Surtain? So Caleb Farley's biggest boost over Surtain is his athletic upside. He is an absolute freak on the outside. Great size, which Surtain has too, but Farley is a much better athlete. He is very fluid, very athletic, very fast. I like that in a corner. Surtain's best boost over Farley is A, he played this year, and his technique is pretty flawless. Farley can get by with some missteps because he's such a good athlete. Surtain doesn't really make those missteps. He's very fluid with his hips and his technique and allows both of them to be very good sticky coverage corners. From the great house of Constantine von Neuville. Wow, what a name. Constance. Damn, I was so close. Mike Evans or Cooper? What do you prefer? Do you want the better route runner or do you want the bigger-bodied outside threat? I mean, for the Cowboys, give me Cooper because I know he works great with Dak Prescott. Honestly, though, you're picking two of the top 10-ish receivers in the NFL. I don't have any issues with either of those guys on my team.